All right, so this is finishing making enemies, not friends. That's what I call this one. This is the third one in this little scratch top-down game. I don't know what you call it. We have the movement we've talked about. I've added another enemy, which is basically I just duplicated this, made a different costume. Pickup still works. Score on the background. We have some music playing. I'm gonna take this off right now so I don't have to listen to it. We got some enemies, right? So if I hit play, score gets set back to 0. A little ball moving around, right? As I collect these things, they throw a little sound. All I have right now are the enemies. I can actually touch them, um, pointing at me. That's what I'm really doing. So let's go ahead and make these enemies actually a threat to the player. The first thing I want to do is when I click the green flag, is actually move this ball right back in the middle. So I can use this command go to and just say 0, 0, because that's the center of the screen. So now when I click start the game, it goes back to the middle. I say he. I've personified a ball. There you go. Yeah, so it looks good. The pickup, we don't need to set the position because it's a random position. The enemy, though, we want to. That's why I've added this go-to block. And I've kind of put in the numbers for us. So put this like at the very beginning. You don't want to forever go to there because then it would never move. So just right before we go to here. So for this enemy, what we're going to have it do is slowly chase the player, always point towards the player and move wherever the player is going. So the player is faster. If we looked at the player's speed, is 10. The enemy's speed is 3. So the enemy will always be slower than the player. So the player should always be able to outrun it. Anyway, so what we have now is forever. It just points to the player. But if we do forever move, he will always move towards the player. So you can change the speed, all that's kind of cool stuff. So you got an enemy that kind of moves, and you can, he kind of gets in the way, so you got to dodge it. I don't know where that. Oh, it likes to hide behind there sometimes on the score. So that's that. And if I put the green flag again, it starts at the corner, right? The player starts in the middle. Okay. Gives a chance for the player to actually avoid it. Next, though, like you'll notice, I can touch this player and nothing happens. Right? I must have went offline. So interesting. So now we got to do is actually do collision, make the enemy actually stop. What we're going to do is just make it stop the game if it touches the player. So inside that forever loop, say, hey, if touching player, stop all. Boom, that's it. Now, normally what we'll do is when we talk about broadcasting, we'll broadcast like in-game, and then we could go to an in-game level and all this kind of stuff. And it'll give you a chance to restart the game or whatever. So there you go. I can dodge it just like normal, but if it touches me, it stops. Everything stops. So cool. We're going to make this other enemy here do like a different AI movement. So if we look at enemy 2, I've got a bunch of different blocks we'll look at in a second. I actually have 2 costumes. I have the green costume and the red costume. These are just ones I made up. You'll see we're going to switch between these, but the red means it's a threat. Green means it's not. So what I want to do have this basically enemy look at the player and then shoot towards it really fast and then stop and then wait for like 2 seconds and then look at the player again and shoot towards it where it was. So the player will have to dodge it because it's really fast. But right now, all I have it doing is forever pointing towards the player. I'm going to do the same thing. Go to a point. This is actually X negative 170. So it's down here in the right-hand corner where this enemy here is negative 240 on the X and then 170 on the Y. So that's the corner up there. So let's do that. If I do this, it'll be just like the other player, but look how fast it is. All right, it's pretty fast. It's as fast as the player. So what we're going to do is instead of doing move 10 steps, we're going to do move 10 steps 30 times and then wait 2 seconds. Okay. What this will do is allow it to move 300 steps, stop, and then do it all over again. So they go, see, it stops, and then it moves again. It shoots at it again. So we get kind of a different AI movement there for the green one. We could probably make it even faster than 10. We could even make it faster than the player if we wanted to. That might be too fast. Whew. There you go. So make it a little more of a threat. Okay. So we have these costumes. Let's switch the costume at the very beginning of the Forever Loop to green. Or I guess at the end here. And then after the wait second, switch it to red. So this way it'll start green. It'll be red when it's chasing us, green when it's not. That's just a visual thing. You don't have to do that, but that's just a cool thing for that. Then we want to also add the touching stop all, right? If touching stop all, we do want to put that inside this move repeat thing. I want to make this a little like that. So there we go. We probably want to start it off. Actually, let's do a wait as well. Wait 2 seconds at the very beginning. That way it doesn't shoot at us immediately. There we go. It should have turned red though. Let's move this red right up here. It starts off green, shoots at us. There we go. All right. All right, so that's some really basic AI. We can do another one, I guess, if you wanted to. Let's make another one. I'm going to duplicate this. Enemy 3. We'll make enemy 3 just like a rectangle or something, a box. Or you can make it a circle. It doesn't really matter. We'll make it a box. This one, all we want this one to do is basically bounce from left to right. So let's also make it spin. So turn 15 degrees, I guess is fine. What we want this one just to do is let's do it point in direction and do random from 0 to 360 degrees. So put that at the beginning. And then we're going to do a special thing called if on edge bounce. Where is that? Is that a motion, I think? There. If on edge bounce. So then you'll see this box. It just kind of bounces along the screen. It doesn't really have any AI except bouncing, but it does, will get in the way. So that's your. Oh, I needed to see if it actually stopped it, which it does. The red, so red square. I'm trying to die. Okay. So for this one, I'd put it in a different actual, maybe up there. So it'd be 240 by 170. So there you go. We got 3 different enemies, 3 different enemy styles. Box just bounces around the screen. Red constantly chases. We can make this go a little faster too, maybe the box. It doesn't matter. You can play around with these variables and just make it how the game however you want to make it. But the idea is to get as many jewels as possible until you die. So that's basically 3 types of enemies. You have a dumb enemy that just bounces around. You have 2 smart enemies that have 2 different types of movement. So use those in the games if you want. Next time we'll actually show you I'll probably make a whole new one, make it something an enemy player that shoots. We'll probably use the same movements code. We'll make it shoot projectiles and then destroy some enemies, kind of thing. So, all right, that's it for that.